Welcome into Brewers Daily. I'm your host, Dave Gasper. It is New Year's Eve. We have made it to the end of the year, and to celebrate, in order to look back on the year that was in 2025, I want to look back at some of the top games of the 2025 Brewers season. There were certainly a lot of good ones as the Brewers win 97 games. They end up, getting the top seed in the National League, top seed in all of baseball in the playoffs. So lots to get to there. Be sure to subscribe to Brewers Daily here if you enjoy what you're watching and want to get updated every single time something happens with the Milwaukee Brewers. Get some fresh content. Be sure to subscribe, get notified every single time a new episode drops, as it will Monday through Friday every single day. And follow me on Twitter at dgasper24. So, all right, let's get into it because there were a lot of fantastic games for the Milwaukee Brewers this season. First up that I want to talk about here in terms of, just importance and a good game, May 25th against Pittsburgh. This was a game that turned the season around for the Brewers. If you remember, those first 6 weeks or so of the season, this team was struggling. They were really going through it. These first couple of weeks. I mean, they came into this game, they were 26-28, or 25-28 heading into the game, and they lose two in a row. They were on the verge of basically losing the series against the Pittsburgh Pirates, the lowly Pittsburgh Pirates, who were in dead last. There were so many struggles. There was, a rain delay issue earlier on in that series because it's Pittsburgh. There's always rain. But then we get to the final game of this four-game series. 1:30, get an afternoon game on a Sunday. Everyone's just kind of tired, ready to go home. But this team showed some incredible fight. First inning, they score 3 runs. They get out to a nice big early lead, which was certainly great to see. You had Rhys Hoskins with a sac fly, Sal Frelick with a 2 RBI single, which was, I was like, okay, it puts you out, big, nice and early. But then the Brewers end up giving up the lead. They give up 5 runs to the Pirates, and they're down 5-3 heading into the 8th inning. And it's like, oh no, here we go again, about to lose 3 in a row to the Pirates, just struggling. But then in the 8th inning of this game, you get a walk from Rhys Hoskins. Remember, Rhys Hoskins was keeping this team afloat early on. You get a walk from Rhys Hoskins. Isaac Collins doubles. So you get runners on second and third. And then you end up getting back to, after a line out from Frelick, you get back-to-back doubles from Caleb Durbin and Bryce Terang that bring home 3 runs. Brewers take a 6-5 lead. And from there, Abner Uribe shut things down in the 8th inning. And then Trevor McGill in the 9th inning, able to shut things down, and the Brewers end up getting the win. That sparked this team. That game, that May 25th game against Pittsburgh, that sparked them. Because you look at how they were playing in those games, leading up to this, what they were doing, it was just absolutely horrendous. The way that they had been playing in that series, even. They were really struggling, but especially in that month of May. I mean, there were games in a row where they literally scored 0 runs in 4 out of 5 games during that month. And they were really going through it. But then, they lost 3 of 4 in a stretch there, losing to Baltimore, getting a win against Pittsburgh, then losing the next 2 against Pittsburgh. But then, this win on May 25th against Pittsburgh, it started a 8-game winning streak for this team. And that really just helped, really get this team going. They ended up sweeping Boston, sweeping Philadelphia, getting a win against Cincinnati. They really got on a roll after this win here on May 25th. That was the turning point of the season, this May 25th game against the Pirates. That was truly where this thing really kicked off and put this team on the path to 97 wins, because really it seemed like they were on the verge of really just kind of falling out of it, that this thing was just not going to end up working. So that is one of the top games of the year for the Milwaukee Brewers. Next up, we got to talk about burgers. We got to talk about the streak, because the streak that got us burgers, the George Webb's free burgers for everyone in Milwaukee, for everyone in the state, There were just so many crucial games. This happened, started at the beginning of August, August 1st. They swept the Nationals, then they sweep the Atlanta Braves, then they sweep the New York Mets, then they sweep the Pittsburgh Pirates, and then they end up, taking the first two against Cincinnati. But you get all those sweeps in a row. You got 12 wins with that sweep against the Pirates, 12-5 that game on August 13th. That secured all of us free burgers at George Webb's. Just so many incredible games, so many incredible wins in that stretch. You got a walk-off in there on the 10th against the Mets. Isaac Collins came through with the walk-off home run, 7-6. That was an incredible game that the Brewers had there, August 10th. Where they were, they were really struggling at the beginning of that game. The Mets scored 2 in the first, 1 in the second, 1 in the third, 1 in the fourth, and 1 in the fifth. They were putting up runs. They had 5 runs before the Brewers really basically got off the mat. And then finally, it's like they're down 5-0. You think, oh no, the streak's over. 5-0, 4 innings in. They had nothing going for them. And then 3 runs in the fourth, 2 in the 2 in the fifth. Next thing you know, they're right back into it. Then they tie it up in the 8th inning. They get a big time run there in the 8th on a Joey Ortiz RBI single. Joey Ortiz didn't always come through with big moments, but he certainly came through there for the Brewers to tie the game at 6. And then in the 9th inning, you get to Edwin Diaz coming in. Mets bring in their closer. It's like, okay, how are we going to do this? Leading off the inning, Isaac Collins. Isaac Collins takes him yard. And the Brewers walk it off, and they win 7-6. Just an incredible game in the stretch. In order to win 14 games in a row, you need games like that. There's going to be those games where you are down big and you somehow make a miraculous comeback. The Brewers seem to have a couple of those in this stretch, and it was just truly remarkable what they're able to put together during that 14-game winning streak. And if you remember as well, I mean, when they got the streak to 12, it's like, okay, well, now can they get it to 13? Can they match the team streak back in 1987? And they had their hands full with the Cincinnati Reds. Excuse me, Cincinnati Reds to start that series, because that game, the Reds score 1 in the first and then 7 in the second inning. The Brewers were down 8-1 before they even knew what hit them. I mean, it was just like, okay, that's it. The streak was fun. We got our burgers, and now it's over, right? Not quite. The Brewers then score 5 in the third, 2 in the fourth, another 1 in the sixth, and 1 in the seventh. I mean, they tied it up fairly quickly. Then they added on some more runs after that. I mean, just insane. Mizorowski did not have it in that game. 1 in the third, 5 runs. DL Hall comes in, gives up another 3 before settling things down. Bullpen was lights out after that. Mears, Ashby, Uribe, Koenig, McGill. The offense just being able to swing things back. Just some stupid stuff that we had. We had Christian Yelich, with an RBI double. Andrew Vaughn, because Andrew Vaughn, 3-run homer. Bryce Terang, RBI double. Then you get to the 4th inning. Christian Yelich, 2 RBI single. And he was, on the verge of a cycle there once again, because it's Christian Yelich and the Cincinnati Reds. He's always on cycle watch against them. Yelich, instead of tripling, Christian Yelich just decides to homer again in the 6th inning. And then they add on another insurance run in the 7th on a wild pitch to bring home Brandon Lockridge. Just insane to be able to keep that streak alive. How they were able to perform, incredible. The Brewers got burgers, and they got more. They got a 14-game winning streak. Andrew Monasterio came up with a big hit to secure that 14th win in a row in Cincinnati. There, just beautiful. That streak was so much fun to watch. That team, they had seemingly everything going their way for all those games. Just so much fun. Next up, speaking of so much fun, fun games on the season, we got to talk about that NLDS because really, frankly, all of those home games were just the most incredible. All three of them I think you could put as top games of the season. The ones at home, because what we had for those games. I mean, we look at game one. Game one, okay, Chicago Cubs hit a leadoff homer from Michael Busch, and it's like, oh no, here we go. Like everyone, we were all stressed about it. We're all like, oh no, here's the Cubs. Do we want to face them? Some of us want to face them, some of us didn't want to. The stress of if you lose that series, all the trash talk that it's going to be so hard to stomach a loss there, and you give up a leadoff home run, and then just immediately you get an answer from the Brewers. You get Jackson Chourio, double, Bryce Terang, double, William Contreras, double, 3 straight doubles to start the game. I mean, the Brewers offense was ready to go. They had been off. They had the bye for that wild card series, so they get the NLDS, and they were raring to go at the plate, just lighting up Matthew Boyd. 3 straight doubles. You get a walk from Vaughn. Frelick reaches on an error. Then you get a Blake Perkins single, a Joey Ortiz walk. Jackson Chourio up again. He singles. He had 3 total bases in the first. He was 2 for 2 with he ends up with 2 RBIs there in the first inning. I mean, it was just incredible. Them being able to bat around in the first against Matthew Boyd, force him out of the game. And then from there, they added on another 3 runs in the second inning, and very quickly they were up 9-1, and vibes were just incredible, in that game. Jackson Chourio ends up, tweaking his hamstring in the third inning, or in that second inning, his third time up, which was very concerning and definitely caused problems for the Brewers later on in this postseason with him battling that hamstring. But he kept on playing. And when he played out there in game 2, I mean, talk about another incredible game for the Brewers. They give up a 3-run first inning in that one. I mean, they give up, they put Aaron Ashby in as a starter to kind of change things with the lineup for the Cubs to get Michael Busch out of that leadoff spot. So Justin Turner's in there. He hits a fly ball. He's out. But then Nico Horner, single. Kyle Tucker walk. Seiya Suzuki, 3-run bomb. It's like, oh no. Now the real nightmares are coming through. A solo home run, a little bit easier to come back from. A 3-run homer, much tougher. But then, bottom of the first inning. After Chourio and Terang strike out, so it's like, okay, well, it's like you just give a 3-run homer, first 2 guys strike out. Then Contreras, single. Christian Yelich, single. Andrew Vaughn, absolute tank for a 3-run homer to get the Brewers back into it. Again, American Family Field, $5 in the jar. American Family Field explodes. I mean, it was just the most, it was just so incredibly loud after that. I couldn't believe that ball ended up going out. I mean, it was so high, it was in the air for so long, but that was just a massive turn in that game to get the Brewers right back into it. Then they score again in the third and score 3 runs in the fourth, and they end up winning that game at 7-3. Contreras homered, to get some more, insurance there, and then Jackson Chourio 3-run homer. Oh man, those moments. I mean, they were just absolute peak, and the Brewers were just vibing. They're up 2-0 in the series. And then, of course, you get to Chicago, and games 3 and 4 do not go the Brewers' way. They go horrendously. And then we go to game 5. And game 5 is the pivotal moment. I mean, that is the pivotal game in this season. If the Brewers lose game 5, everything is basically for naught. The 97 wins, winning the division, number 1 seed, all of that, poof, goes out the window. Good feelings about this team, everything that they've been building for, gone out the window if they lose game 5. If they cannot win a series, because they hadn't won a postseason series since 2018 when they won the NLDS against the Colorado Rockies. That was the last time they won a series. So now, for them to finally be able to get that monkey off their back, this game was everything to the Brewers. And finally, they were able to avoid the leadoff home run there from Michael Busch. But That was really kind of the worry. But he hits a fly ball, but it ends up not being a home run. But then you get to the bottom of the first inning, and William Contreras supplies the homer. Solo home run in the bottom of the first, and just like that, vibes are just insanely high. Brewers are feeling really good. I mean, they had their opener, Trevor McGill. Trevor McGill started this game. I mean, it was that stupid. It was that insane what Pat Murphy was trying to do, how crazy it was. Drew Pomeranz started for the Cubs, but you get Contreras with a solo homer. Immediately, Jacob Mizorowski coming in the top of the second, he gives up a solo home run to Seiya Suzuki, who was causing the Brewers problems. So that ties the game, and next thing you know, good feelings going back down. But then Andrew Vaughn comes through again with the solo home run in the fourth. Next thing you know, vibes immediately back up for this team, feeling good. Bullpen shut down. I mean, Jacob Mizorowski was just electric after that first pitch, first at bat to Seiya Suzuki. After that, he was lights out. Then you get to after Mizorowski, Aaron Ashby comes in and he was electric. Chad Patrick, 3 up, 3 down. Then you get to Uribe after Bryce Terang adds a solo home run himself to make it 3-1. Add a little bit extra insurance. You knew you needed some insurance. If it was 2-1, still not feeling that great, even though the bullpen was lights out. But that extra insurance from Terang was phenomenal. But the bullpen, incredible. Uribe goes the last 2 innings of the game, and he is just locked down. And the Brewers advance to the NLCS. Those 3 easily the top games of this season for the Brewers, and in terms of electricity, in terms of importance, in terms of how the Brewers played, being able to come back, to be able to strike early, just insane performance from the Brewers in those games. Immediately top ones of the season for me, and especially being able to vanquish the Cubs and move on there in Game 5. I mean, that's got to immediately put it to the top. But really, Games 1 and 2 were also just phenomenal. With how the Brewers were able to battle back early on. And one final thing here, I want to mention it as an honorable mention for top game of the season. And that goes all the way back to the beginning of the year, April 1st against Kansas City, the first win of the season for this team. Because if you remember, you may have blocked it out of your memory, and I don't blame you for doing so. But April 1st against Kansas City, the first win of the year, the Brewers lost the first 4 games. And they got embarrassed by the New York Yankees. I mean, it was just absolutely the worst start to a season you could possibly imagine. I mean, Freddie Peralta got lit up. Nestor Cortez, 3 straight pitches, 3 straight homers to start his Brewers career. Just horrendous. I mean, they got blown out by the New York Yankees in that first series. And then you lose the first game to the Kansas City Royals. Everyone's daubers were down. Everyone was feeling like, oh my God, this is the end. It's finally come to fruition. The collapse that everyone's been talking about, the Brewers losing Willie Adames, losing Devin Williams, all these guys trying to replace them with young dudes. It's finally not going to work for them. It's finally all going to fall apart. And there genuinely was that feeling. If the Brewers did not get it going at some point soon, they were going to put themselves in way too big of a hole. But then they get that 5-0 win against the Kansas City Royals on April 1st, and that immediately cooled all the worries. That immediately got this team a little bit more back on track. Chad Patrick, 4 2/3 scoreless innings, did a phenomenal job there. Because, Elvin Rodriguez in the home opener, yeesh. That was horrendous. But you get an Eric Haas home run to get the scoring started. Christian Yelich, RBI ground out after that. Then you get a Rhys Hoskins RBI single. Vinny Capra with an RBI ground out because he didn't get base hits. He got ground outs, but at least that one got an RBI for Capra. Christian Yelich adds a home run later on towards the end for good measure. And the Brewers win 5-0 over the Royals, and they desperately needed that one because otherwise this season was about to go off the rails fast. Losing your first 4 games of the season and still managing to win 97 and be the top seed, no one was predicting that after the first 4 games. It was abysmal But they were able to answer. So those are my top games of the 2025 season, of the year 2025 for the Milwaukee Brewers. And now the calendar flips and we go to 2026. So hopefully we'll have more great moments to talk about then. And we look forward to ringing in the new year here on Brewers Daily. So be sure to subscribe, get notified every single time a new episode drops, and follow me on Twitter at dgasper24 for all my Brewers takes there. Thank you for enjoying, and we'll see you again in the new year. This has been Brewers Daily.